Good morning. It's 6:15 and I've washed my face, and now I'm going to do my morning meditation, which I do every day. So, welcome to the start of my normal day. The day continues with a set of exercises that I do to keep my shoulders strong, and I start with the TheraBand. Next, I do a series of lifting small weights. Not very heavy, 8 pounds, but again, to keep my shoulders from being inflamed. And then I finish off with some squats. And after the morning exercises for the arms, then it's the morning walk, half-hour walk. Here we go. The birds are pretty active today. It's warm. It's currently about 50 degrees. And I've seen some robins returning, so they think that spring is on its way. Today it's going to be up to about 71 or 72 degrees. So let's check in at the lake and see what we have going on there. Some very noisy geese over on the far bank. Quite a lot of ducks in the water. Nice morning for swimming. The robins return. Along my walk, there are a couple of interesting houses. This is one. This is very Japanese style. I assume that it's a Japanese family that lives there. And this house, which seems to me like it always ought to be in some kind of mountain resort. It looks like kind of a mountain cabin. As usual, we have some geese. We have geese everywhere. And here's a couple of good examples of definitely what they call silly geese. And now, morning walk completed. It's time to jump on my Moto Guzzi V7 and drive to the University of Oklahoma to teach my entertainment law class. So, let's get on the road.
I do jump onto the interstate briefly. I try and stay off of it as much as possible. But for a certain stretch, it makes sense to be on it, saves a little time. And so I jump on and then I jump off at my first opportunity. Crossing over the Oklahoma River. The river is where or a part of the river is where the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics will be having the kayaking events here in Oklahoma City on that river, further down towards downtown. Directly ahead, you can see some of the buildings of the Will Rogers World Airport. You got Sky West over there, and Atlantic. So I drive by the major airport on my commute. Occasionally I see airliners taking off or landing. Not right now. Along the way on the commute, I drive by the Amazon Distribution Center. And the road that goes along is a lot of fun because it's very curvy. So you can see the interstate over there, which I stay off of because this road is so much more fun. Over there is Amazon. Stretches for several blocks. Big distribution center. One of the things I really like about my commute is as I get down towards Norman, the roads are not only nice and empty, but pass by a bunch of farms, and it's pleasant riding through the countryside all by myself generally on these roads, maybe one or two other cars. Passing by farms. Over here we have the Allen Farms, and in the field I can see they're growing something already. There's a couple of horse farms, and it's just a very pleasant ride. It's a nice commute in the morning, fresh. Don't have to fight the traffic, get to stay off the interstate and enjoy the back roads. Takes a bit longer, takes an hour instead of 40 minutes if I took the highways entirely. But it's a nice ride. I'd rather take the back roads and enjoy the ride, enjoy the scenery. Over here you can see there we got some horse farm. Here you can see all the Bradford pear trees have bloomed. Beautiful white flowers. The Bradford pear trees are very pretty. There are a lot of those also in Oklahoma. I understand from reading I've done that Bradford pear trees are actually kind of bad for the environment, but they sure are pretty. Over here someone has painted on their barn, "Beat Texas." Constant rivalry between the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas in football, and every year they meet in a neutral location in Dallas. The University of Texas is in Austin, and the University of Oklahoma is in Norman, Oklahoma, but they meet at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas to play their annual rivalry football game, and students from both schools drive to Dallas to enjoy the game and the surrounding festivities. And it usually takes place during the Texas State Fair, so there's all of that added attraction as well. Over here we have a very typical fixture in Oklahoma, especially in small towns in Oklahoma, a water tower, pretty big one, and it says Norman on the side. You can just see the last end there of Norman. I'm never really sure exactly what is the purpose of water towers. I suppose it's to help facilitate the plumbing system, but I don't know. If anybody knows, you can tell me about it in the comments. Exactly what is the real purpose of a water tower? Coming up, we have an unusual thing for Oklahoma roads. We have an actual roundabout. We have very few roundabouts anywhere in Oklahoma, but this is one of them. And ahead of us, you can see yet another water tower. That one says OU on it. That, of course, is the University of Oklahoma. And in fact, that whole area over there is the local airport, Westheimer Field, and the University of Oklahoma has aviation school, and students learn how to fly, and that's where they do their work. They fly out of Westheimer Airport and can get their pilot's license and go on to get their commercial pilot's licenses. And then I suppose the goal is for them to go on and become commercial pilots, airline pilots and such. One of the things I like most about Norman, Oklahoma is that it is the home of the University of Oklahoma, and it's a quintessential college town. There are lots of cities where there are universities, but it's just a university in the middle of a city. Norman really kind of grew up around the University of Oklahoma, which really came first, and it has grown into a wonderful little college town. We can see over here on the right, there's some fraternity and sorority houses, and all of the houses in Norman, very charming neighborhoods, and the whole town has a real college campus feel to it. So we'll drive through a little bit and take a look. And we'll go along Chautauqua Avenue here, which has some houses that I think are particularly charming. Very old houses. These houses were built in the 1930s, mostly, some in the 1940s, but very well maintained, beautiful, comfortable looking houses. Even the little grocery store here to serve the neighborhood. And this is not my usual route, but we'll drive through downtown Norman, a kind of very charming old American downtown, and take a quick look on my way to the school. Passing University Boulevard, we get into downtown Norman. All the buildings put up again in the 1930s, 1940s, but of course all housing modern businesses. And now I'll turn off and go back to where I usually go, which is back down to the law school. Here you can see some of the university buildings, classroom buildings, and the campus extends quite a bit north and south. It's a pretty big campus. There are about 30,000 students at the University of Oklahoma. Always construction going on, always something new going up. Got a whole new, apparently, facade going on over here for one of the science buildings. I think that's the chemistry building. On the left there, we have the music building. That's where all the music students do their work. And on the right, immediately across, is the drama school, where I spent my undergraduate time, as well as getting my Master of Fine Arts in theater directing in that building. We have arrived at the law school building, and now we'll go inside and take a look. This is the University of Oklahoma College of Law. It's also known as Andrew Coates Hall, and this is where I teach my entertainment law class. And so here we are, arriving at the building. We'll go inside and take a look at the student lounge. Here we are, it's the bottom floor of the law school building. And this is the student lounge area where all the students hang out and study before classes or hang out between classes. And the classrooms are all down those hallways. This is my classroom. And inside the classroom here, you can see it's laid out with the teacher's station up front, and of course all the desks areas for the students. And as I roll around here and climb up to where the students would sit, that's where I would be when I'm teaching, although I do tend to wander around the room a lot. And it's a nice setup because there are big screens that I can display stuff on, PowerPoints or other information. So there's two big screens on the front of the classroom, and in the back, there's a small screen, which I can see from the teacher's desk, although most of the time I always forget to look at it. So this is where I teach in the law school. So, after class, time to go back home. Well, my fuel light has come on, as you can see on my instrument panel there. But so far only 2 miles into my trip fuel, and I'm on my way home. I will stop for gas. I get about 45 miles per gallon on this Moto Guzzi V7, which is not bad. But it's about a 35-mile each way commute to Norman, so round trip 70 miles, of course. And that means that I got to fill it up every few days because even at 45 miles a gallon with only a 4-gallon tank, that means I typically get 180 to 200 miles out of it. And that gets used up pretty quickly in a 75-mile round trip commute. Well, I've stopped for gas. It's a typically windy Oklahoma day, so I will wrap it up here. That's my morning, my activities, my commute to and from the University of Oklahoma. And thank you for watching. Be sure and hit that subscribe button. Give it a like also, and I'll see you in the next one.